When I was a kid, the great Gerald brought his band to my middle school. And I was just starting to get into music, and they played, and it was just incredible to hear and listen. And I went up to him afterwards, being young kids. Hey, how do you get in your band? Like, hey, and he said, oh man, you got to keep practicing, and blah, blah, the typical spiel I think a lot of musicians say to young people, not always knowing what to say, So anyway, I remember some years later when I started teaching, and I had the opportunity to have Buddy Collette come over to one of my schools. And Buddy Collette was a great legendary reed man in LA, helped to integrate the musicians and everything. It was great. Came over to do a session with my jazz band, my high school jazz band that I was teaching. And so happened that my lead alto player that day was not there. So he was the only one there not in the band. So I said, well, I should play lead alto. Now, mind you, before that, I was asking Buddy Collette to give me lessons, and he never had time. He was just a busy guy and everything. But that day, he came over to do this workshop with the kids. I played lead alto, and he kept looking around, and I thought, oh my God, man, maybe I'm playing bad or something. But afterwards, when the kids left, he says, man, you ought to be playing more, man. You sound great. I mean, I was like, whoa. He said, man, what do you, And that after the kids left, we spent about 2.5 hours in my band room, and him working on stuff with me. I had my lesson with Buddy Collette. So I'm like, well, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm teaching, I'm playing a little bit, About 2 weeks later, I got a call from the Gerald band. And Gerald said they needed a saxophone player. And I thought it was a prank on the phone. I'm like, what? They called and they said, need a saxophone player. And then I went to my first Gerald gig. And I was there. I was sitting in the saxophone section playing second tenor. I'm like, holy crap. And I remember I did like a full circle. I remember when I started in middle school and I heard this band, they played all these great charts and Gerald wrote and arranged. And here I was playing with this band. So I played about 5 gigs with that band. So the first gig, I didn't get a solo. So I'm like, okay, second gig, The third gig, we played a gig out in Malibu. And I'm still right now the third gig, I haven't got any solos. I don't have to worry about it. I'm just going, I can read the parts, I'm okay. And so we're on the bandstand, we're playing through his arrangement of Milestones, and the band, the band's kicking, it's kicking hard. And all of a sudden, he points to me. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I have to rise to the occasion to play that. See, now, when you're in a big band like that, you're not gonna sit and say, oh, no, not me, I rose to the occasion, I felt great. And then the guys in the band was, hey, man, you killed it, blah. I'm like, man, I was like, I could have probably cleaned my pants afterwards, but I had one of the best times in my life, best gigs right there, and I tell kids that story all the time because you never know when you have to play. And I see a lot of bands that, especially in big bands and jazz bands, everybody wants to have one or two favorite soloists. I believe everybody in a jazz band needs to be a soloist. Everybody needs to be able to play. So I go to the guy in the corner who's really looking somewhere else and doesn't want to be. Say, no, you need to play. And we go through and we talk about it. Everybody needs to be able to play solos. So, and also, you need to be prepared for whatever is going to come next. So, that gig there those gigs were incredible. I've had some great ones.